News. We have Natalie Chuck joining us today for sports.
Yes, and Natalie, Gamecock men's basketball had a pretty big win last night.
Yeah, guys, we have officially transitioned from football season to indoor basketball season, which is great with that rain coming our way. The Carolina Gamecock men's basketball team is now 6-3 after squeezing out a win 84-80 over the University of Massachusetts in their first true road game last night. Now, this victory is a big one for the Gamecocks because 2 of their 3 losses have been outside of Colonial Life Arena away, but home team advantage couldn't save UMass. Top scorer A.J. Lawson racked up over a quarter of the Gamecocks' points with 24 in just 35 minutes of playtime. And sophomore Keyshawn Bryant made his comeback to the court. Last night marked his 2019 season debut after a knee injury back in October. But Bryant clearly hasn't gotten rusty as he was the team's 3rd top scorer of the night with 13 points. The men will take on the University of Houston for their next game at noon this Sunday at home. Now, the Gamecock women's basketball team is currently ranked 6th in the nation in the AP poll. Summer Hector went to learn more about the people who are a crucial part of the team's success on the court.
They're the unofficial Division I athletes, not on an official roster, but they play an important role in collegiate women's basketball.
You have the responsibilities of an athlete without exactly being considered one.
The practice squad for the Gamecock women's basketball team is all men. It's a team whose main goal is to prepare the women and make them better.
It's such a rewarding experience to see that your work is appreciated and to see them execute and the things that we do in practice come to fruition. It's one of the most euphoric feelings that I've ever felt.
Women's basketball teams around the country have been practicing against men for the past few years now. But here at South Carolina, these guys get to practice against one of the top teams in the nation every day. And it's something head coach Dawn Staley thinks challenges her players.
I'm one that played basketball with guys all of my life. And I don't think I would have become the player that I am had I not played with them.
The scout team guys at South Carolina are at every practice, and they prepare for games days in advance by watching film to mimic opposing teams' players in practice. And the Gamecock coaches treat the guys the same as the women's team.
I mean, sometimes it's kind of like the App State game. My players scored the first 3, and coach was kind of mad at me because I wasn't shooting enough in practice, so that was a little tough to see.
While the men's practice squad might not get all of the same perks as the women's basketball team, they do get recognized for their hard work in practices. When the Gamecock women's basketball team won the national championship in 2017, all of the men on the practice squad got national championship rings. Current grad assistant Jacob Coltrane played on the practice squad from 2015 to 2018. He says getting involved with this program has benefited his career.
Was seeing 10,000 people at every game and seeing a beautiful practice facility like this, and I mean, yeah, there's other schools out there, but you don't get to interact with Coach Dawn Staley every day and her staff. So
Coltrane is working to become a coach in women's basketball.
Ball is ball, so I say that every time somebody asks me that. So men's basketball, women's basketball, it's all the same thing when it comes down to it.
These men are proving that women's basketball players, like the Gamecocks, can hang with the guys.
It showcases what we can do against guys. And you got some guys out there that really don't think women can play.
I would tell him to line up against maybe Asia Wilson and see if you have a chance, or even Aaliyah Boston, Zaya Cook. You can't guard them.
And that's exactly what the male practice squad does every day. For Carolina News, I'm Summer Hector.
Women's basketball will face off against Temple University in Pennsylvania this Saturday, but at their next home game against Purdue on December 15th, you can find the men's practice squad sitting right behind the bench cheering on their teammates. Taking you a little further from home, all the way over to the Philippines, South Carolina senior women's golfer Louis K. Go is tied for 4th with 1 round left in the 2019 Southeast Asia Games. Go shot under 2 under today, leaving her just 1 stroke away from 3rd place. More women making Gamecock Nation proud. Women's soccer head coach Shelly Smith and assistants Jamie Smith and Clark McCarthy earned Southeastern Region Staff of the Year. The honor is voted on by coaches in the region and follows the end of their 2019 season as SEC champions. Other coaches in the Carolinas are settling into some adjustments. That is, of course, the Carolina Panthers. Yesterday was interim head coach Perry Fuel's first day of practice in his new position after former head coach Ron Rivera was fired earlier this week. And along with practice, Fuel held his first presser as Panthers head coach. Here is what he had to say about keeping the team's head in the game as they close out the season.
Making sure that not only the staff but the players, that we're all rowing in the same direction. Because there's emotions that are involved, and you have to take the emotions out of it. You have to focus on the objective. And so just making sure that I can get the team to focus on the objective.
Fuel will be coaching the final 4 games of 2019, beginning with their game against the Atlanta Falcons in Georgia this Sunday at 1 p.m. And the Panthers will be an interesting team to follow along with, as it's definitely going to affect the draft, the NFL draft, and next season with a new head coach. That whole program's being revamped.
Right, that's going to be a pretty big adjustment for the team to make so close to the end of the season.
I know. I'm looking forward to watching it all happen and see what they do with it.
Well, still more to come on